What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and today I'm going to do my picks and selections for the NFC Championship game and the AFC Championship game, all leading to the Super Bowl. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to talk about the game manager side of the bracket, which is the NFC, the 49ers versus the Detroit Lions. This will probably be a very good game, but it will be a game that if Detroit does what they did the past two previous games, where they jump up big on a team and then finds a way to let that team back in the game, they will lose this game. The 49ers is not the team to be messing with when it comes to actually going up against them, jumping on them, and then letting them stay around. The 49ers have shown on multiple occasions that they're able to battle back into games. Not only battle back into the game, but battle back into the game and win the game. So to be quite honest, I do feel that with the current state of how the Detroit Lions are playing in these playoffs, I do feel that the 49ers will, in fact, walk away with the win. Now, the benefit that they have is that they're saying Deebo Samuel will be back, but injured Deebo Samuel doesn't help them as much. But again, like I said, if Detroit sits up there and finds a way to not play to their strengths and actually stay on top of the team and stay on top of the 49ers and not give them any leeway or room to fight back into the game, they're going to lose the game. Detroit has a very good offense, and the 49ers, you know, with Hufanga still being out, you're talking about they can take advantage, Detroit can take advantage of the 49ers secondary and actually come out with the win. The problem is that, again, Detroit, for some reason, they're probably following some unwritten rules and things like that. But at this point right now, even as a coaching staff full of former players, the unwritten rules have to go out the window. You're not going to win this game playing by unwritten rules. You're just not. Because if you sit up there and the game is a blowout or the game is being blown away and you stop putting your foot on the gas at 21 points, because it seems like that's what they've done. They get to 21 points and then they just want to kind of chill the rest of the game. No, you can't do that when it comes to a team like the 49ers and a coach like Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan has shown over the years that he does not care. If he gets up on you, he's going to keep piling the points on. So Detroit really needs to find a way to stop that. Christian McCaffrey, you got to find a way to stop Christian McCaffrey. I don't think Jack Campbell is fast enough to stick with Christian McCaffrey, which means that you might have to go with Brian Branch to be the spy for Christian McCaffrey. Because again, you're talking about, I mean, you could do, I would say Brian Branch is probably your best bet at being the player to basically defend Christian McCaffrey even when he comes out the backfield, because I think that he gives you the most flexibility, and not only that, your defense won't be weighed down with trying to for everybody to stop him. You can actually deal with Brian Branch actually stopping Christian McCaffrey in the offense. On the other side of the ball, again, you're talking about the 49ers have a very solid defense. They have the best linebacking core when it comes to the NFL. I mean, Drake Kinlaw and Fred Warner are two of the best linebackers you can ever imagine. They're going to be all over the place. I don't think that Detroit will have a running game at all. And I mean, my concern is that Jared Goff will be Jared Goffing. And what that means is that he might sit up there and he might not play well because he might actually feel the pass rush pressure more than he's ever felt in a while. So this will be a very big game for Jared Goff to see how far he's going to go because, again, Ben Johnson has done a good job with what is basically a middling quarterback. But like always, when it comes to these type of levels of games, you got to find out if this quarterback can march you all the way through because, again, it's not going to be an easy task. The same thing lies with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's going to have to show a different level of game if he's going to actually go out there and try to win. He's going to have to show that he's not just a game manager. He's going to have to show that he can make an impact on the game and make a huge impact on the game, almost to the point where he might have to do some miraculous stuff to actually put the team on his back and actually get it accomplished. Now, I understand that a lot of people will say, hey, John, he doesn't have to do that. I'm saying that when it comes to these level of the playoffs and you're one game away from the Super Bowl, there's going to be Detroit more than likely will try its best to force Brock Purdy to win the game. And you got to hope and pray that he's able to do it. So on the NFC side, I have the 49ers winning on the NFC side. I think Detroit has had a very good run. Like I said, again, I don't think that they will have a running game in this game. And I think that when all is said and done, I think the pass rush of the 49ers will get to Jared Goff a lot, and that is where they will have their problems. On the defensive side, I think they will stick in with them defensively. I think that they will give the 49ers trouble defensively. But I just feel that when it comes down to it, the 49ers are going to squeak out the win because Detroit let them back in the game. So with that being said, I got the 49ers on the NFC side. On the AFC side, the game changer side. And I gotta say this before I say who I think is going to win. The Baltimore Ravens are the most complete team. Offensively, defensively, special teams, they're probably the most complete team that we've seen in a very long time. Because even these past several Super Bowl winners, you're talking about, I think the last real complete team that we really saw may have been the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, this Baltimore Ravens team causes a massive problem for any team that faces them. Not only that, it causes the NFL a huge issue as well if you want a competitive Super Bowl. No matter how you look at it, should Detroit happen to win, even though I don't really feel that they got the power to win, but you think about Detroit, you think about San Francisco, and you think about these Kansas City Chiefs. There is no team better than these Baltimore Ravens. And it's hard for me to believe that there will be any team that will be able to beat these Ravens in the current state that they're in, where they just have minimal holes. You even talking about when it comes to their cornerback position. Marlon Humphrey has been out, but again, it almost seems like it doesn't matter. The defense just picks up. They have a replace. When one guy goes out, they have a guy who can come in and play to a level that a standard that Baltimore's defense has always shown through the years. And you're now talking about Lamar Jackson has now pushed himself to an area where he's now one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And you're talking about a guy that we're seeing grow over time and could be the next huge thing, because you're talking about this guy would be a young two-time NFL MVP, and possibly a Super Bowl MVP as well. So to me, this is one of these games where this is one of these teams that poses a really big problem for the NFL when it comes to a competitive Super Bowl. No matter who the Ravens will see, more than likely they will blow them out. And it's going to be hard to turn the lights off in a stadium again. With that being said, I do feel that the NFL recognizes that. I do feel that the NFL notices that. And I do feel that the NFL understands that they cannot have the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl, because if they make it, you're talking about that team blowing out either of the teams on the NFC side. The Kansas City Chiefs is the only team that, at the end of the day, if it's Detroit or if it's San Francisco, that, you know, they can actually hang in with the Kansas City Chiefs. But with Baltimore, neither one of those teams can hang in there with Baltimore. And to be quite honest, I do feel the NFL will get into the game. I think that they do not want the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl because they just cause a huge problem. And with that being said, I'm going to tell y'all, do not be surprised if you see this. We're going to see a lot of momentum-killing penalty calls. We're going to see a lot of... We done seen how they have been letting players play, like holding and all that type of stuff. They've been letting them play during these playoffs. We're going to see a lot of penalties called on the Ravens. We're going to see a lot of, like I said, slowing the momentum of the game by calling penalties and stuff like that. We're going to see a lot of that. And they're going to frustrate the Baltimore Ravens to the point at where they realize that the fix is in and they're going to give up. So with that being said, with the assistance of the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs will beat the Baltimore Ravens. And the Super Bowl will be the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. I know I feel bad for saying that because my brethren in Baltimore, I'm cheering for the Ravens. And that's just what it is, you know. As a member of the DMV, even though I know Baltimore is slightly outside of the DMV, but still, you're a team that's up the way. So I know a lot of Ravens fans don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that the NFL is going to get involved. But understand, the NFL knows that they have to have a competitive Super Bowl or nobody will watch it. Nobody will watch the Baltimore Ravens blowing out the 49ers in the first quarter. I mean, we saw that before. Remember when the Ravens saw the 49ers the last time and the game was basically out of hand. And we're talking about we weren't even at halftime yet. And next thing you know, boom, lights go out, kills all the momentum that was happening on the Ravens side, killed it for a very long time. And then when the lights came back on and everything came back on, next thing you know, San Francisco was able to get back into the game, but they still ultimately lost. The reason why is because guess what? The NFL was getting those real-time numbers. And when they saw that people started to turn the TV because the blowout was in, they had to shut the momentum down. And that's exactly what they did. And like I said again, they're going to do it again. They can't have, for them, they're not going to want the Ravens in the Super Bowl and sit up there and not have a competitive Super Bowl. They're just not going to want that. I will say this. If Baltimore really wants to make the Super Bowl, if they really want to make it, they're going to have to sit up there and make it a point of getting up on Kansas City early and getting up on them often and scoring not only offensively but also scoring defensively. And they're going to have to practically come out and play a lot. Don't be surprised if Morgan Moses is penalized a lot in this game. They're going to, because Morgan Moses is a fantastic offensive lineman, but they always find ways to penalize him the most. Even though he may not do anything, they'll find a way. And like I said, there will be a lot of momentum killing penalties called in this upcoming game. But like I said, if the Ravens want to win, they're going to have to score on every possible possession, should it be offensively and defensively. Hell, even in the special teams, they may have to find a way to basically score in special teams. So that's what I feel. That's what I think. I think it will be the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers, because I think that that's the only way that they're going to have a competitive Super Bowl, and I think the NFL knows that. And the last thing they want to do is for people to be basically turning the TV off and the next day it be big news about how awful the Super Bowl was and how it was a blowout and, you know, the parity isn't as good as they wanted to be in the NFL. All that type of stuff. So that's my choices. What do y'all think? How do y'all feel about what's going to happen? Do y'all feel the same way that I feel, especially when it comes to the competitiveness of the Super Bowl and the NFL possibly playing a role in making sure Baltimore doesn't make it, because they're that much of a complete team? Y'all tell me what y'all think. Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.